Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Mademoiselle Lina, and you can find me online at www.conjureknits.com. Today, we are here to do the Virgo TarotScope for January 2022, and we are going to be using the Fairy Oracle cards by Brian Froud. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you for viewing my video. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and click on the little bell so that you'll receive notifications of when I go live or upload new videos. I do try to stay pretty busy here on my channel. I do all 12 zodiac signs for the monthly tarot scopes. On Sundays, we have Conjure Crew with myself, Mambo Tanya, and the Black Bonnet Witch. On Mondays, I upload the weekly forecast. Every day, I do a card of the day reveal. On Wednesdays, we have the virtual book club. We are currently reading the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. It has been so much fun following Richard and Kaylin on their adventures, so you are definitely going to want to join us for that. I also pop on from time to time and do free readings, so make sure you get my notifications by clicking that little bell. All right, I feel that I have rambled on long enough. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Card number 1. What is the challenge for this month? And we have Death. This is about natural, timely endings, release, liberation. Scary, eh? Before you panic, let's remember that if it were not for Death and her hard work, we would all be up to our ears in alligators, mayflies, each other, and just about everything else. Without her to clear the world, there would be no room for growth or new life. This applies to all the realms: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and others. The Death card in all oracles, fairy, tarot, and others does not usually signify actual physical death. In fact, that is rarely the meaning. Rather, it indicates a significant change, one that involves letting go of the old life in order to move forward into the new. What we really fear about death is the unknown, the what next of it all. We may be experiencing great pain as a result of holding on to aspects of life that we have outgrown, but humans tend to hold on anyway because we don't know what is next. We want guarantees, and instead we get open doors into unknown, darkened spaces. Yet, when we go through these doors, closing them behind us, we discover a whole new world, one in which we can grow and develop into more of what we have the potential of being. So here we see Death, her face hidden, without form, holding a dark crystal ball. She herself cannot herself see the future. Card number 2. What positive energies can I embrace this month? And we have Himself. This is about natural law, life force, magic, shamanic power. Known as Himself, the Shia is guardian of both the hunter and the hunted, and finds no conflict in that because he understands the many necessary balances of nature. The living bond between all life, Himself is the breath that moves, the atom that dances, and his magic is in pure being, living, loving. Olga's journeyman and the master maker have the magic of doing, of the creation of things. The bright mother has the magic of manifesting and nurturing, but Himself, he has the magic of procreation, of dancing the spark of life into being. His presence brings magic and life into a world where it is shaped and given form by Earth Mother. He dances as the bright mother gives us birth, powering us into the world. He is the great Father. At the other end of our lives, He is the one who dances the great dance of life and death, and it is Himself who, when the piper plays his lonely call on the wave-swept shore at year's end, dances open the gate between the worlds so that the dead may pass beyond. It is also He who is willing to sacrifice Himself, when that is necessary, for the sake of those whom He protects. In between those two extremes, His wild yang energy is channeled through humans to benefit tribe and family. His family is all of us, human and animal. Shamans draw upon his power, and the best healers channel a balance between his power and the bright mother's nurturing energy. Even as our hearts beat within us, we learn to mediate the life force through joyful being and action. Expressing this power through healing and love and trust, we become more like himself. Card number 3. What negative energies do I need to negotiate this month? And we have Fuffaf the Fuff-Footer. This is about being real, earthing, grounding, centering. Just as life is becoming surprising, exciting, and very interesting, though not necessarily fun, Fuffaf the Fuff-Foot Fuffungus Fuff-Fairy comes along to check out our feet. He picks up one foot in his remarkably strong hands and looks it over for fuffluff between the toes, smelly fuffungi, and dirty, untrimmed toenails. If he finds any of these signs of disrespect for our feet and for Earth Mama, walking on her with grubby fuff feet, yuck, he marks them by making holes in our socks. If things are really bad, he sends mice to eat our dancing shoes, so we will be forced to dance barefoot in the dewy meadows under the moon. If it happens that we have snow instead of dew, that is just our tough luck. Warning, Fuffaf may have fungi on his fingers from someone else's foot, and if our feet are not clean, both energetically and physically, the fungi are apt to take root. He leaves that foot in the air while he inspects the other foot, lifting it up as well. Having done his inspection job, he wanders off, leaving us standing there with both fuffy in the air. And Fuffaf snickers, usually confused expression on your fuff faces. This is not a good position for a human to be in. This is a test. Repeat, this is a test. You have been warned. The test is to get both feet back on terra firma. Do not try to do anything important or make any significant decisions until you have come back to Earth. Anything you attempt to do while standing with your feet in the air is apt to not work, if you are lucky. If you are unlucky, it will work, but not at all in the way you intend or hope. Here are some quick fairy tips for earthing. Stroke your feet gently with both hands, each one for 5 minutes. You can also check for holes in your socks while doing this. Paint your toenails bright red, then your toes say a cherry, or should that be cheery, heya, to you when you look at them, and this reminds you to keep them on the ground. Even when you can't see them, it will probably still remind you, especially if you are a man. Card number 4. What do I need to make time for this month? And we have the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. This is about love given, love received, metaphorical open heart surgery. Pixie kisses are not chocolate like the well-known Hershey's Kisses, but the pixies claim that they are a whole lot sweeter and don't do anything dreadful to your teeth. However, if the pixies have been munching fairy chocolate, some pixie kisses give people freckles. The pixies say that there cannot be too much kissing. A fairy kiss is a blessing indeed. Pay attention when you feel a fairy touch on your cheek or lips. Pixie kisses, in fact, all fairy kisses, are to be noticed and savored. If you do notice, you will find yourself smiling without meaning to, and feel a surge of warmth swell in your heart. This fairy, Morna, is the queen of love, all kinds of love, brotherly, sisterly, parental, friendly, unconditional or conditional, either or both. She tells us it takes perfect people to have a perfect love. But we, imperfect as we all are, may have many loves, each one perfect for who we are and for what we need now. These loves may not feel perfect. They may not look perfect from the outside, but they fit us now. If we don't like them, she shrugs, then we need to change ourselves so that a different kind of perfection fits us. Here we see Morna in her role as heart surgeon, using the power of love to help us open our hearts when we have closed them out of fear, helping us to expand and become more of what we have the potential to be. Yes, it is true. Having an open heart, being willing to love and be loved, makes us vulnerable to loss and grief. But Morna assures me, and I believe her, that once a heart is truly and fully open, even the deepest grief becomes bittersweet, like dark chocolate, and there is no pain that is not balanced by the greater joy of love. The feeling of giving love is what makes us feel good. What keeps us from enjoying it fully is our desires to own others and have them constantly prove our importance to them. Such proof is impossible. However, this kind of conditional and self-limited love is part of how we learn about real love. If ever you hear yourself asking, "Do you really love me?" or saying, "I don't think you really love me," then you know that the love you are giving to the other is conditional and limited. Morna would like to help us learn to love others without conditions, and she also would like us to learn to love while still staying properly centered within ourselves. It is important for us not to lose ourselves in others and let their desires become ours while losing sight of what we need for fulfillment in our own lives. In the long run, or even the not so very long run, that never works out. We only think we know what others want and need, and sooner or later we get it disastrously wrong, usually by thinking we know what they ought to need. We are all learning about love, and in the process of learning, we all act as teachers for each other. Ram Dass said, "The karma of relationships is the hardest karma there is." Believe it. Morna advises. And this is true, no matter what the relationship is. But for all that, love in its purest sense is the fast track to self-realization and enlightenment. The wild thing at the top of the picture is filled with bliss and is longing to cuddle its way to enlightenment. Remember, everything and everyone in fairy glows with its own light. So do we. Much of that light is the glow of love. Remembering that is so important. Opening our hearts more widely to the giving and receiving of love evokes the well-kissed fairy within. Card number 5. What opportunity should I seize this month? And we have Ilb the Retriever. This is about the Office of Unclaimed Property, Hopes and Wishes. Loyalty. While writing this, I was having a little trouble with Ilb. Not for the first time. I couldn't find my keys anywhere. He thinks it would be greatly to my benefit to be more organized and tidy, so he smears not quite visible juice on things that are out of place, or he encourages the resident cats to hide things. Cats seem remarkably willing to cooperate with these little bits of fairy helpfulness. Then I have to hunt and hunt for them, and Ilb hopes I shall be more organized the next time. You may have encountered him in this guise. When he has done something like this, my son observes, he just looks at us with that, "Who? Me?" look. My son also advises, keep your eye on him, and whatever isn't nailed down. And if you scold or contradict him, he just gets huffy and insists on having his own way. This sort of busybody helpfulness is just one of Ilb's tasks, however. He also has more important things to do. Ilb is a protector. He retrieves and safeguards our lost hopes, forgotten dreams, and mislaid keys. My keys were under a stack of papers stuck to the floor with peach juice. Not a place that I'd put them myself, but certainly safe from most key thieves. He holds these seeds of our potential futures carefully and delicately until we are ready for their return. Sometimes we don't think we are ready for them, or we have given up hope altogether. And then he may arrange reminders for us, events or people in our lives that bring back memories of our past hopes and dreams. When that happens, we need to look at them again and consider how we might manifest them into reality. All right, my lovelies. Let's take a look at the bigger picture here. Card number 1. What is the challenge for this month? And we have death. Important change is being blocked or delayed by clinging to old habits or things, and therefore the changes that need to happen appear to be difficult and forced upon us. Yet, releasing these outgrown and outworn ways of being must happen in order to move into the next stage of development. Meditating upon breathing in truth and breathing out non-truth may be helpful. Not truth may be false information, or it may be simply confusion or muddle. We don't have to know what it is or look at it. We just need to exhale the energy of not truth. It is important to look to the future, however unknown or frightening, rather than trying to tug the past along with us. It may seem impossibly difficult, but the only way to reduce the pain of this process is to step forward into the future willingly. Card number 2. What positive energies can I embrace this month? And we have Himself. When Himself appears in a card spread, he not only indicates that a great amount of energy is present in the reading, but he also strongly energizes the fairy cards around him. Everything he touches becomes more of whatever it is, more alive, more vigorous, more powerful, more awesome, or more awful. This card in a reading can indicate great vitality, victory or triumph, confidence and power. There is leadership, an ability to command, steadfastness, and integrity, wild power held and channeled for the good of all by will. Himself speaks of protection, either of you or of someone you owe protection to, like a child or an elder. Acceptance of paternal responsibility is important, as are deep and committed relationships. Heat is the preserver of the natural world and its balances. Shamanic power may be indicated here, as well as a potential for powerful spiritual healing. This card may also speak of erotic energy, passion, and potent creativity. Card number 3. What negative energies do I need to negotiate this month? And we have Fuffaf the Fuffooter. Oh help! Get someone to send a balloon up and pull you back down to earth with it. This is urgent. It is difficult, sometimes impossible, to contact you from planet Earth while you are floating off in your own personal soap bubble. Do come back. Do this right now. The world is full of sharp edges for soap bubbles to run into. Then they go pop and tumble us onto the hard ground or into dark and dangerous waters below. The better choice is to bring our own selves down gently into the embrace of Earth Mother. Alternatively, learn to fly properly. This card reversed can also speak of those who draw their energy from others, rather than from the source. Ecstasis' song, having lost awareness of that fundamental connection. It can indicate that we have lost a proper sense of ourselves as whole and holy and are seeing ourselves as much less than we are. Card number 4. What do I need to make time for this month? And we have the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. Oh wow! What can I say here? Love, sweet love. Accept it, burnish it up, add to it, and pass it on. The presence of the fairy who was kissed by the pixies suggests giving and receiving love and intimacy in any of a wide variety of relationships. She gives notice that this is a time to open and heal our hearts. Different aspects of life may well be flowing happily together, healing separations and hurts from the past. Bonding may take place and deep feelings emerge. Changes for the better may occur in all aspects of life, but especially in relationships, which may be deepening and becoming richer. You may be experiencing love therapy for opening the heart as new relationships begin and old ones develop. Enjoy. Card number 5. What opportunities should I seize this month? And we have Ild the Retriever. Ild is trying to remind you of something you've lost, a hope, perhaps, or a dream. You may have thought it gone forever, but he is holding it out to you for reconsideration. He thinks you can do something with it now. The way may not be obvious, but his clever nose has scented a path, a potential opening for bringing this into your life. Sometimes Ild may be saying that a long-awaited dream is at last arriving on the scene, and there is nothing we need to do but open our hearts and minds to it. However, we usually have to work for it. Another attribute of Ild is loyalty. Well, it looks like we have some work to do. I understand that it can be hard to let the past go, but it will be so worth it. Don't get down on yourself. Allow others to love you. You are lovable. There are so many people who love you if you would just give them a chance. Don't lose yourself as you are sitting around waiting for something dead to come back to life. Keep moving forward. Love yourself first, and let the love from others help heal your heart. I hope that this reading has helped you and will help lead you and guide you throughout the month of January. If you do feel that it has helped you and that it will help someone else, please feel free to share this video. Sharing is caring. And if you would like a more in-depth and personal reading, you can go to my website at www.conjureknits.com and click on the link at the top of the page that says, Book a Reading. Oh, and by the way, did you know that you could have gotten this TarotScope up to 2 weeks before the general public? Oh yes, check out my Patreon for details. I will drop a link in the description box below. I hope you all have a very beautiful and amazing month. Love you bunches. Shalom.